Things are about to get wild.
Whoa!
I can't
Whoa!
believe
It's gonna go crazy.
Oh, but we can't talk about it. We signed an NDA.
We cannot talk about anything exciting.
We watched the new Star Wars, the latest Star
The new
Wars
Star
movie.
Wars
We were
movie.
invited to Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California, to watch the newest Star Wars movie. What can we say? Not much. They made us sign NDAs, but I can say Star Wars is back.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Joe's back, but we're Negative and Elliot.
We are
You know,
negative.
we do our best.
Sans Elliott. He's surviving this week. He's surviving.
He is.
We signed an NDA, and that's all we'll say. That's all we'll say.
You know what I'm gonna say is that we got some strong boys up in here at the Valleyfolk, in whatever state that we are currently in.
California.
We have strong boys dealing with strong issues, and you know, we're just taking things every day. We're taking things every little by little, every single day. We're taking it as it comes.
Sometimes it's small strides, sometimes it's big strides.
That's the way life rumbles.
It's interesting that, like, I mean, I know it is a very, like, gloomy outlook on life, but, you know, the older you get, the more you, like, your mortality becomes racing towards you.
Right?
And
you start to think about it a little bit more, yes.
you start to think about it a little bit more, and you're like, well, you know, when you're young, you think about how the future will just never end. Like, you're just
You always have opportunities ahead of you.
yeah, you've got so many chances to take huge chances and, you know, do whatever you want with your life. You have so much time.
I'm gonna ride this motorcycle out of a plane. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go learn to climb a mountain, a whole ass mountain.
Done it.
I love Ass Mountain. The views are great.
They're changing it into a different ride, unfortunately. I'm sad about it. But you know, but the older you get, the more you realize that, like, there might not be as much time as I thought to do these things that, like, I definitely had time to do earlier on in my life. And you can't get too deep into the, like, regret stuff or, like, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because you can't go back, you can't go backwards, and the person that you are now is due to every single choice you made leading up to that point.
I think it's a hard mentality to get to, and I fail to get to this, even though I tell myself every other week to get to it, which is, you know, the next 20 years of my life can be the best 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's really hard to get to that I think at any point in your existence, because, you know, responsibilities and yada, yada, yada. But what they don't tell you in school as you get older, is that growing up is just a little bit of just not losing your mind when you're surrounded by bad stuff. And we didn't realize that our parents were going through it, like our educators, our mentors, everybody's going through it. It's like everybody's freaking stronger than you think, because you don't know what everybody's going through. And what I mean by that is, as you get older, you know, people that you know and love start to pass, and you start to have to
Get
deal
sick.
with. And if you weren't hit with that type of thing when you were younger, it's like, I don't mind, I might not have the skills to do with this. Sickness becomes more prevalent in people within your circle. And then it's like you feel like you get stretched thin, because you want to be there for anybody and everybody at all times, and you're like, I can't, because I'm also with my own stuff. And then you have to be kind to yourself and not tear yourself down for not being able to be what you consider the best version of yourself. It's a hard balance, man.
I think the most important thing to take away from all of this, though, is that, like, if we're all here right now for a very limited time, then I think in all of my years and in watching others' years go by as well, I've learned that it's okay to be selfish when it comes to decisions that affect your life.
Or cake.
Or cake. Because it's delicious.
Yeah.
And there's always more cake. But I think that it's okay to make selfish decisions regarding your future, and also it should. I know it's terrifying, but it should be ingrained in you that taking chances is like exciting, not scary. Because
Or
when you're
both.
older, you want to, well, sure, it can be both, but it should be the exciting part of it should overwhelm the scared part of it, I think.
This
And
is-
so I think that you get to a certain age where the most important thing is just to make sure that what you're doing is leading to your happiness more than anything. Like, I know money runs the world, and everybody wants money and everyone needs money. And we're all just obsessed with
That's my
like
favorite
making
Robert Palmer song.
everybody
Everyone
needs money.
needs money.
And we're we're at a point in our lives where things, if you live in certain parts of the world, it's harder to get by on a living wage based on how much money you're making and all of that, and money is such a worry and stuff. But if there's a chance for you to make money and be happy, I think that that's like, being happy is the priority, I
So
guess.
join that damn roller derby team today.
That's right. Or are you lonely? Go to a bar that does trivia night.
Oh,
And just
Or,
say, I'm on your team. Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
you.
you.
Take a
Reservoir Dogs.
class. Take a class. Take a class.
I'm on your team. Just
Life is
walk into a
unfair.
college class.
Not
Point at the
everybody,
professor and say, I'm on your team.
and not everybody everybody has access to money and happiness. Survivable money.
Steve, at what point do you think you started thinking about mortality the most? Like, is it just this current, 2 years?
Well, no, I think every time someone close to you passes away or someone dies, you have to force yourself to think about mortality again. And I think
see.
that as you go on, you deal with more people passing away in your life. And rest in peace to Riggs, who passed away recently.
Yeah.
That was a real hit to the heart.
Ugh.
And then you think about, man, that little creature lived such a happy life. I mean, towards the end, I think that there was some discomfort, but Bree is such a good parent she was like the best dog parent I have ever known. I've never seen anyone who treats their
Birth a dog the way she birthed that dog. It was
She did birth that dog. That dog came out of her.
birth that dog. I want to birth that dog.
No.
Things when deaths and things happen, you're like, man, death.
I see.
I forgot about that for a second.
So
See, I
I've been-
feel like for me, it's more an age thing. Like, the older I get is when I feel it, like the actual number. But I haven't hit an age yet, I think, where a lot of people close to me are dying yet. I'm not
Yeah.
there yet.
Baby boom. What are you, 26 now?
27.
27? Jesus. You're old.
I know.
But I was working on a video at React this week, and one of the stats, there's a couple things that ended up interesting things that came from it. I'll talk about two of them because it's a little bit of a game show thing that I made. I don't want to give all the answers away. But
Shit.
setting one of the things,
Shit.
the life expectancy for males in America is only 73 years.
What?
It's only 73 years, which is
I
far
thought it's supposed
below-
to be up.
Is
Far
that
below.
is that a current
Yeah.
that's like a
I
recent
thought that was 2000 when that
far
was the...
below many other countries that are up at 83.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So when I read that stat, definitely I started thinking about it. I was like, I got about 30 years left.
You're halfway. Yeah, halfway
Holy
almost.
shit, more
You're
than
halfway there.
way more than halfway, if that's the way it is. So that was one of them. But then the other fun fact that I found was, can you boys guess how long the oldest verified male human lived to be?
Ooh.
World record. Cal, this one
It's
of my
over 100.
That's
I'm going to
fun.
say
That's a fun. Yeah,
Do
it's
it
got to
here.
be over
Here's a
100.
clue. He's from Japan.
118.
118
I'm
from
gonna say 120. Round it out.
120 from Steve. And the correct answer is to the day 116 years and 54 days. The dude was born in
Dude.
1897.
Wait, he's still alive today or he
Died
died?
in 2013.
Whoa, he lived to the
Wow.
millennium.
He lived the entire think of how much
I
he
can't.
saw the world change.
It's insane to think about that stuff.
Like
Bonkers.
he had
Yeah.
25 great grandchildren, I think, and then 15 great grand, some crazy stat like that, all alive when he was alive. And he was the last, they think, living World War I veteran.
What the
So
fuck?
wow.
Damn, World War One.
That means that he's what? I'm not even like 1/3 of the way there yet. Like I would still have another 3 lifetimes that I've lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like closer to 1/5.
That's insane.
Isn't that nuts?
But the thing,
I was talking
like,
to Ellie about this,
Yeah,
about how, because she turned 25 recently, and I was like, the whole idea, for some reason, and I think a lot of people think this way, like, once you hit 60, like, the difference between 60 and 80 seems like it's only, like, 2 years, but, like, that's 20 years of life that you have to live in that amount of time.
60 and 80. I think like what happens is that we're young, especially when we're kids. I remember looking at 40, which I am now, and thinking, good God, 40-year-olds are so
I know.
old. I feel just like physically, and I think I'm a little fortunate. I feel physically as good and energy almost as good as like my 20s. Like I'm doing well that way. That's
time, good.
60 and 80 can be pretty detrimental to.
That's what it's just like. That's a whole
20 years. I was playing basketball. Did I tell you guys the story? I think I did. I was playing basketball at the YMCA like a year ago or whatever. And it's a bunch of people my age, some skews down to there's some 18-year-olds running around and then some older folk. And this one guy's running with us, and he's like taller, looks about 60, and he's kind of lumbering. He's a little slow, but he's keeping up. He's going up and down with us. He's getting rebounds. He got a couple baskets, but you can tell he's probably one of the older guys on the court. And I go up to him and I go, hey, good job. And he comes up to me. He's like, it's really nice playing with you. You're a real good point guard. Thanks for passing the ball. I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Good job today. And he goes, I go have a good day. And he goes, oh, I will. It's my birthday. And I go, oh, happy birthday. And he goes, I'm 89.
What the fuck?
Like, and I was like, oh my God. He's an anomaly for sure. But like, he was an example of like, it's total roll of the dice, right? Like
it totally is.
If you're taking care of your body or not taking care of your body, it's like anything could happen, yada yada yada. Genetics, food, health. But like there's a chance that mind and body at that age are
still working.
Okay, are still working.
I think it is like definitely it is like a genetic lottery.
Yeah. I climb with like a 72-year-old guy, and he's like super fit and does like climbs.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like
good.
The guy that lived to be 118 or 16 or whatever, and that's the oldest living person recorded or whatever.
Verified oldest living person. Yeah.
It's like there's no way that guy like in his older like once he hit like 102 wasn't like suffering from like old age body stuff. Like maybe his brain was like cool or something, but like think about how your knees hurt like sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then think about like adding another 50 years to that pain. I
mean, it sounded like they did an interview with him. You're completely correct. It's all
like your body starts to fall apart. Like we're like organic matter. So like we have to like rot and wither and like atrophy. The older we get, the more you can't move your arm anymore this way. Like that guy. Like how mobile was that guy?
Oh, I mean, at 100. So at 112, there was an interview. The video that I saw at 112, obviously stuck in a chair, but was like being able to hold one of his great grandchildren for a second. There's a smile on his face, but like he's old. There's only so much he could do. I think for somebody like him who created so much life, which is another crazy thing, he dropped cells out of his body that just multiplied and multiplied him. There's just so many people on the earth that are a result of him, which is a crazy
Yeah.
thing to think about.
He like changed the earth probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like if he
you
didn't
know,
exist, we wouldn't have like Velcro or something.
I'm sure it was part miserable, but part like he was surrounded by so much love that it made that being miserable maybe a little bit easier. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't there. I don't know the guy. But it's crazy stat. Crazy.
Well,
thing.
I do, and we have him on the phone right now. He's a skeleton,
I'm
but he has a
dead!
lot to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy, the talking skeleton, who is 120 years old.
he definitely died an old death, which by that I mean he just got pneumonia, and at that age, it's like
Yeah.
the body's like, nope.
I heard his final words were, "But I've got so much left to do. I'm so young. I've got so much life to give." You know, like,
I'm gonna go play basketball with Joe next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think though.
Well,
Well,
I'm
speaking of
exhausted. I'll
skeletons-
tell you that much.
Speaking of skeletons,
I'm exhausted.
You're 41 right now.
I am.
41. Imagine living more than 40 more years. Or sorry, 70 more years. More than 70 more years.
Honestly, I can't. I can't.
Steve-
I can't do it. I can't
Steve
do
is-
it.
Yeah.
I don't want to live through more. Like, dude, Joe, think about the things just we've lived through, the changes of the planet we've lived through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we lived through the time before the internet.
Yeah.
We were around before the internet, and then we were around when the internet happened, and we were around for like 9/11 and like
quite honestly, we were like, that was kind of our biggest change, you know, and there was big like events and stuff like that. But the internet, cell phones, things like that, like technological convenience, computers, you know, we kind of lived through that revolution. This guy was like, indoor plumbing for everybody?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
an automobile? An automobile?
That's nuts.
Right? Like he would have been cognizant for pretty much every movie ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, up until 2013.
From when
That's
it started,
insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one day it'll be a novelty that we were alive before the internet
We
started,
used to
Joe.
call him
But
talking.
that guy, yeah. Yeah. We just I don't know, man. I feel like we've lived through so many changes, societal, social, political, all of those things. Like we've lived through some pretty big changes, and then we just went through a major viral pandemic that we're still in the middle of.
I guess that was. I
That
was trying to
history-
think like what my like big event thing was.
Life is different now.
Yeah,
like,
the pandemic was definitely it. I mean, I was alive for like 9/11, but like I mean that I'm kind of aware of the change that is happening.
You know, Joe and I were around for the internet starting, but I don't remember thinking that like this is going to change the world. You know, it just felt like something
was
that was like
gradual.
nerds were only going to do.
Yeah, the
Because it was
pandemic
like-
definitely was like all of a sudden just a 180 switch. Yeah.
It was pretty gradual how like it was still fast in like the realm of like time, and when you go through history and you look at a book, you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, the internet just happened. But
Yeah.
it was gradual, right? Like people
Yeah,
were
like
talking about it.
computers were starting to be invented. Yeah, things were
Schools started
slowly.
to like slowly integrate it into your, you know, your daily work and stuff like
To the
that.
point
It wasn't
where
to use the internet
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
right.
Until I think I did a project in 8th grade where I had to finally use the internet as a resource for the first time.
Yeah, like I remember it always just felt like this was just going to be for nerds cuz only nerds have computers.
Yeah.
And even like in pop culture, like
Yeah.
if you had a computer, you were like a fucking dork and you weren't like doing anything. You
Weird
weren't cool.
science, dude. Weird
Yeah.
science. We're gonna
Like,
make a girl and we're gonna do her on our
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
We're in our basement on our computers while everyone else is out enjoying life without cell phones and shit. And but these were the people that were like they were paving the way for the future of technology and shit. But the point I was trying to make was that like it felt like only nerds were going to use it. And then Joe, Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K felt big For sure.
Y2K was like crazy because it was like all computers were never built to like have the year 2000 happen
Or so they thought.
in their systems. And so as soon as it became the year 2000, all the computers in the world were gonna like die.
I wish I had some memory of that as a
Dude,
5-year-old.
My memory, yeah, I know, right? But you like, do you have any memory at all? Yeah, no memory.
I
at all.
don't think so. The only thing I feel like maybe I remember we had like a big New Year's party, and when I was really, really young, and for some reason I'm thinking it was so big because it was like the change into 2000. But I could be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the change. It was this big like you wanted to party like it's 1999. There was that side of it. Prince, what up? Shout out. But then it was also like, so you had this excitement, but then you also had this like trepidation. I do remember everybody like the 2 years leading up to it, there was a lot of panic. It was like the biggest like letdown as far as panic goes.
It was like the first time we had like a national, like everyone is going to be affected by this thing. That ended
wasn't it worldwide? Wouldn't it have been worldwide?
Yeah, but it ended up like being a thing that was like everyone. This is a big deal. We're all going to be affected by this, and then nothing happened, and it like created like a major like. It was like the beginning of like, oh, the news can like say whatever the fuck they want, and we could all respond to it and prepare for the end of the world, and then they could be wrong, and then we're like, uh-oh.
We as a country spent. Because this is another thing I covered at React, and if I remember correctly, don't quote me, it was like $3 billion on like upgrading stuff,
trying to figure it out. Yeah,
and I think it did help in the long run and help mitigate anything that would have happened. But the night of, I do remember that there was like a collective like 10, 9,
yeah.
Like everybody kind of held their breath for a second. And then, like, everything was...
Okay, I've always wondered, so, like, what was the fear that, like, this... Okay, so it turns to midnight. What's then the...
Well, nobody knew. Nobody knew.
No, they were saying our entire, like
the power grid.
Infrastructure was going to fail.
Yeah, the power grid would... Yeah.
Power, elevators wouldn't run, computers were going to shut down, but computers were connected to Wall Street. Wall Street was going to crash.
And
like
not only that, connected to dams and things like that. Like they're going to say like dams would like malfunction or like shut down or something. Like it, dude, but the crazy thing is like a lot of people believed that at least something would happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, there weren't people thinking like nothing's gonna happen. There were people that are like maybe this will happen. It was like from maybe like a little nothing to like the world will end kind of shit. And I remember being so excited about it. I remember being like, dude, if this ends society, it would be so fucking. It would be so cool to live through.
Steve.
Like I would, dude. All I could think of was like it would be so cool to live through the moment where society has to return back to like, you know,
before all the technology
and oil and like, before technology. I was like, there was part of me that was like really excited about like a global change that would affect everybody. Like it sounded like really exciting to me. And I remember I never got invited to like parties ever because I was like a weird dork, but I got invited to this party on Y2K, like the night Y2K was gonna happen, like the changeover. It was New Year's, right?
Yeah.
And dude, I was counting down the seconds for that fucking thing to happen, and nobody there gave a fuck.
Wow.
I remember it like changed
it's too
over,
cool.
And everyone was like, "It's now the year 2000, yay!" And I was like, Does anybody feel different?
Going like, I wanted the world to end it, the world to end. I'm gonna fucking stink.
Because what? You were, how old were you? 17, 18? How old were you?
Joe, how old were we?
Yeah, because it was 2000. We graduated in 2001, so.
I just wanted something to happen, and I wanted like a big I wanted to get like nerdy and fun about it.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like trying to get laid and have drugs.
And
I was like such a sheltered kid that those things were the furthest thing from my mind.
Right.
I want to get away. I want to do drugs. I want
isn't that funny?
I want
That's awesome.
I was a 17-year-old, like super square nerd, straight edge, like weirdo.
Steve had his combat jacket on. He had an AK.
Absolutely.
He had all his like freeze dries, pre-packed meals for the end of the world. He was digging a hole.
Yeah.
He's fucking like
But
panic.
I also had my power glove on,
Yeah.
like as a clothing accessory because I'm like, I'm ready for the robot revolution. These robots are gonna wake up, and I'll have the power glove. I'll be able to control them.
Hello Fresh. Let's talk about Hello Fresh, guys.
Oh,
With Hello
yes.
Fresh, which is one of my favorites. You get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. We all know that HelloFresh takes that hassle out of the mealtime. Get rid of that hassle ingredient. But did you know that it also can save you money? HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout. That means less stress in your day and more money in your pocket. If you keep money in your pocket, do you guys keep money in your pockets anymore?
I mean, if a credit card is still money,
Yeah.
so whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it's the plastic in your pocket.
That's right.
A crazy schedule to make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. So keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week. So there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. With so many in-season ingredients, you'll taste all the freshness of fall in every single bite of HelloFresh's chef-crafted recipes. Produce travels from the farm to your door for peak ripeness you can taste. Produce.
Ooh.
This is what produce travels from the farm to your door for peak ripeness that you can taste.
Produce.
As in the produce, not you produce. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? And it's actually kind of sweet because, like, in my place with the kids, we do fall into that rut, and HelloFresh makes it so that I'm cooking new foods and trying new experiences for myself and the kids, and it shows
That's good. I like that part.
it shows them that there's a bevy of other things out in the world that they can try, and this allows us to do that. So it's like forced experience from HelloFresh.
And groceries are like actually getting so expensive to just buy anything you want to cook. It's like, okay,
Amen.
fucking $5 for eggs or something like that. It's insane.
Hate the grocery store. A lot. So let's see here, guys. If you hate the grocery store and want to do other cool things like try new foods that you've never thought you'd ever try before and do it for cheaper than the grocery store and takeout, go to HelloFresh.com/50valleycast and use code 50valleycast for 50% off plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/50valleycast and use code 50valleycast for 50% off plus free shipping. America's #1 meal kit. Valleyfolk's favorite meal sponsor. Back to the show.
Anyway, but so the reason why I brought all that up was because, like, you know, we've lived through some pretty like exciting stuff, Joe, but also like really kind of scary and fucked up stuff. And if I had to live through 40 more years of
70 more years.
70.
if I had to live 70 more years of like world-changing things,
Well,
like I don't think I want.
So,
I don't
Kevin,
want
you
that.
may not, you feel like maybe you haven't had yours yet or something to that same ilk, but you're actually currently in one that is going to change everything. This AI,
AI, yeah.
we're going to blink in 2 to 3, maybe even 1 year, and things are going to be fucking different.
Yeah.
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 I haven't felt that yet. I'm still like, to me, they don't
still
seem.
just-
I don't think you
I know.
feel it. I don't think you feel it while it's happening. You really have to like look outside, like kind of step outside of like what it is and what it feels like it is right now. It's of interest to many powerful people.
Right.
And are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. But there are many powerful people with interests in AI. And there are things happening right now, especially with the Hollywood types, where they're trying really hard to lock down some kind of fair logical thing that makes sense as far as like using AI
their
to
face.
recreate dead people or their voices or whatever. And I think that's really important. But the one that scares me more than anything, I think we've talked about this, is that the AI like face replacement stuff and the AI like this is an actor that didn't do this
It's already happening.
stuff looks so good.
It just happened with a Mr.
I
Beast
know.
movie.
And Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yep. And it looks good. It's fooling people. And that's like really scary, dangerous shit.
I'm so worried
Yeah.
for, that sucks, right? That's the acting
It's-
thing that,
Yeah.
what
Dude,
I'm
just wait till
worried-
it's like politicians. Like we have this politician.
I-
Here's a
there's gonna be-
video.
I think a war is going to be started because of it. Like somebody's going to like say, look at this person that was just assassinated. Like some bad shit will happen because of it. That's the big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like smaller, shitty, gross society things that I'm super afraid of. I'm afraid for women. I'm really afraid for all the
that's
porn,
insane.
all of the, the basement dwellers that can't get the girl that they want. They'll just make the girl and then they'll share that stuff. Like I know it's already happening. It's sick. It's gross. It's really fucking mentally like deteriorating for the people that happens to. It's akin to like being violated.
I think there just needs to be like a legislative or like, big politically like stamped, like this is going in the Constitution kind of thing. That's like all AI is going to be like watermarked with metadata, and so that no matter what, you'll always be able to look into the metadata and see if it's AI or real. And I think that if we got like computer nerds that are like crazy top level hacker people working for like the CIA and FBI and shit, if we get like really smart people to like create an algorithm that detects like every piece of AI and like digitally like puts like an animal, like when you tag an animal.
I know what you're saying, dude.
When you tag an animal in the wild.
It's wishful idealistic thinking, because for everybody that you're talking about that would be willing to make that, there's the other side that would be like, fuck that. I don't want government control / anarchists / people that are just selfish, and it's always going to be both sides.
I think there's always, I mean, even now we have things that like are set out to protect people's privacy that have obviously been abused, but we had that big like that iCloud hack that released everybody's like private photos and shit, and we haven't had anything like that again since then, because it feels like people's privacy as far as technology goes is not really within the best human rights interests, but certainly in the best business. It's in their best business interests to keep people trusting technology, because once people turn against technology and say AI is going to ravage, we don't know what's real anymore, and people like revolt against technology, these massive corporations start to take like hits, and it's like it's important for them for technology to continue on as the status quo. And I think when they saw that people's private images were being distributed, it was basically destroying the idea of like an iCloud where you could keep all of your personal shit, and it would make people not trust it and whatever. So they created a thing that allowed it to lock it down even more, and who knows how locked down it actually is. But I haven't seen another like massive data leak like that, because I think it is within their best interest to make sure that the customers they trust the technology. And so with AI, I think you're right, Joe. No matter what, there's always going to be people that will be able to break through or maybe push against some sort of like digital tag for AI. But I think within the best interests of all these companies, they have to do something, because AI could destroy technology, I think.
I mean, that's the hope. That's the only hope we can have with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a tough time to kind of be dealing with all these massive changes, just because there's just so much divisiveness in the world right now, and
yeah,
it seems like nobody's playing on the same team, so there's not a lot of interest in like creating for your fellow man, and everybody seems to be creating against their fellow man.
Yeah, it's almost like we weren't meant to, as like a conscious species, to maintain and comprehend the amount of actual connectedness that we all have. Like back in the day, we had these like small villages or these small tribes or whatever, and you knew everybody, and all you had to worry about was like that. And you didn't think about outside that
Well, this
at
is
all.
what I was, gonna bring up is like, does it won't happen, but like part of me wants it to go then to like our whole lives now are like on screens. We're just constantly looking at screens, and it's like we're gonna go back to actually just seeing people live, and like all like the acting stuff and all that performance stuff will go way back to when it's like you just went to a thing to see it, because it's like all that shit is fake. It's
because
like
digital content can't be trusted, and the people who make the most money off of it are the people that are like, you know, way up there. You don't get residuals for shit that's on, like fucking Aaron Paul was saying that he doesn't get a penny for Breaking Bad being on Netflix.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
Isn't that
It's
crazy?
insane.
But if it was on syndication on TV, he'd get like, you know, maybe like a $500 check in the mail every month or
Jeez,
something.
if not, more than
If that. I mean, but, you know, and he was one of the stars of the show, so you'd think that there would be good residuals for like syndication or whatever. But
I really love that 50-cent bring the funny check we get every 6 months. That's
There it
know.
is.
It's like a constant reminder of like one of the worst times of our lives, and also one of the most interesting, I guess, overall one of the most interesting times in our lives. But something I was talking about recently, Kevin, about what you were saying, what is you know, this is all wishful thinking, and no one knows.
I
what's
need
gonna
some
happen.
wishful thinking though. You need it.
But I like the idea that like there's a chance that like the generation coming will like denounce technology.
I feel that a little, like the teenagers now.
Yeah, they're
who,
gonna
like,
be like, oh, these like Zoomer or whatever. What's our generation? These, what are we?
We are
You're
millennials.
millennials.
These millennials are fucking, you know, with their technology, like whatever. Keep your head in your phone, boomer.
Steve, you and I are like we're beginning millennials. We like just missed Gen X. Kevin, you're on the cusp of millennials and Gen Z, aren't you? You're like right there.
I'm the last year of a
The
millennial.
last one. And Steve and I were one of the first ones of millennials.
Yeah,
That's
there
so
you go.
funny. We're on both sides of that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'd love for, you know, I mean, like technology obviously is like massively helpful in a lot of ways. And
I'm more talking about like the performance acting entertainment industry
or the
side
fact
of it.
that social media is like an addiction, the fact that being on your phone
that
is an
too.
addiction. It would be cool if we made it to a point where people are more aware of how social media is an addiction, and all of these like
That's what I was gonna say.
these fame chasing like apps are like a disease, are bad, aren't good for society. It doesn't help anything.
Yep.
You know, and maybe we'll find some middle ground where, like, you know, like you said, Kevin, maybe live experiences is where at least the
just like
entertainment-
even last night, dude, going to like Scary Farm, it's a whole different thing when you're seeing this stuff like in your face actually
know.
happening. It's
I
a
know.
whole different thing.
Well, but now we have like the Oculus Quest 3 just came out.
Yeah.
It comes out this week or whatever. And apparently it's like a huge upgrade from the second one. But the most important aspect of it, the most interesting aspect of it is Meta is going all into mixed reality, which is their version of AR, augmented reality. Mixed reality is like potentially the future of technology, where these sunglasses will have like my screen in them, and I'll be able to like play my games while talking to you guys. It's like I have messages popping up, and
look at the internet.
Yeah, like this is my
Yeah.
computer. This is my
Yeah.
phone. Like this is my phone, and like, you know, it'll make technology so much more like. I don't know.
What's so funny about it is that I've always been worried about being like, I'm the old man guy that just doesn't understand or blah blah blah.
I know.
And
We're
be
already there.
Like it completely doesn't interest me at all.
What doesn't? Mixed reality?
The mixed reality, like
Oh, you don't even, because you haven't thought of
I've
how
thought of
amazing it
I
could
just
be.
don't. I feel like I've got tech because of the
I
last 20 years of doing YouTube. I've
Mhm.
got screens and this experience infiltrating my life too much.
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah, yeah.
don't want more. I
to
am
me,
at a state where I want less. I want it
yeah,
in my life, but I
I'm
can't.
similar, Joe.
So fucking ingrained in my life.
Well, and I think that, obviously we, in our industry, we were like, um, we were told that being on our phones and being on social media was
Yeah,
like
you have to.
was like working, was like being at your desk
Well,
at
it
your
was.
job.
It is.
And
It is.
and we burnt out from that real bad, real fast. It's like we turned on social media fame brain onto like 2 times speed, 10 times speed, and like took in social media in like a really unnaturally fast and like life cycled way. Like it was our everyday, all day, every day. So I get that. I get that, like, maybe you don't want more screens or whatever, but
Nope.
consider this aspect of mixed reality that isn't like the excess of like technology in your face, but like imagine you don't need to ever buy a TV ever again. Everyone in the family has their glasses that are prescription. They look like yours, Joe. And you just like, hey, we're all going to watch a movie. And you all sit down on the couch and you're all seeing the same giant projector screen in your living room because you never need a TV again. Because now you all have a shared TV that you can all watch, like when we do big screen in VR. So, and then, I don't know, maybe you're driving and there's a little notification in your corner that says your engine sounds like it needs like some kind of fix or something. I don't know.
Ugh.
Visual reminders of things that are like kind of
Overstimulation, constantly just bombarding you.
But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be an overwhelming, like, there's advertisements in your face and it's technology and you can't get it away. But imagine you use it just when you want to, like you want to watch a movie with the family.
As a tool.
As
Oh,
a
I
tool.
get it. I get it. Everything can be a tool, but the problem is that the tools are so convenient now, and if they're always attached to you, that's the thing that was actually kind of nice about it.
I mean, the phone already is.
But that's the problem with the phone. That's why I hate my phone.
Mhm.
Because of my
'Cause it's-
phone, I am never not working.
Right.
Because of my phone, and because of this is of course, the nature of the industry that I'm in, but because of my phone, whether or not I'm off that weekend and I'm not expected to be working, the stimulus is still there. The stimulus to be like, how is the thing doing? Or
or the
I agree.
FOMO or whatever. Yeah.
or my ability to just be getting a hold, like somebody can get a hold of me, right? Like all of those things, like there's no rest for the mind.
Yeah,
That's a
you can't
discipline
escape
thing
it.
at the same time. But if I were a job that had nothing to do with the internet industry, it'd probably be far better. But I still know people still suffer from that because the phone is there. You are constantly connected. Now,
And
I'm constantly connected to that, and then all of the other things that you shouldn't be constantly connected to. It doesn't. Like, it's good to be away from your fucking TV.
I agree.
On your face, or the
Yeah.
possibility of the TV is always on your face, which is our phone too. It's just, I don't think it's good for the brain.
So I totally agree. For sure. I mean, obviously, there's an abuse of technology in all aspects. There's an abuse of all the things that make life convenient, etc. For me, I think about if we're gonna live in a future, like I'd like to think about a world where the future generations denounce technology and social media and technology becomes something we rely on less and less. But if the other side of the coin happens and we live in a technology hellscape where the world continues to be ravaged by viruses that keep us in our homes and public places are filled with more people than ever before and you can't even go outside, you can't even drive because traffic's so bad. If we're going to live in that hell world where going outside is more of a nightmare than being on your phone, I'd rather have a mixed reality sunglasses that can make my apartment look like Idlewild. And I can
I agree,
and I can
but
turn on sensors that make it smell like pine trees, and I can make the controlled air feel like I'm getting a wind breeze through the trees. You know what I mean? Like I'll embrace
agree
the
with that.
the hellscape over going out and getting like COVID 75.
Totally, but I don't think that that's what I'm excited for. Like that's what Joe's saying. It's like,
but that seems like the most likely future outcome right now.
I hope
doesn't
not. No, I hope not. That sounds
I'd
awful.
I know. I'd love for technology to become less of a necessity. I would. Because it means that some people could still enjoy future technologies and shit. But
as like
it means
a fun
that we
game
don't have to
thing.
worry about the world that doesn't critically think and just reads headlines, getting a hold of stuff that makes us all dumber as a society even more, and more complacent and controlled by corporations like Disney and Apple and all that shit.
I'm curious how much you guys think about, because I've hit this point in the past year of, and I feel like it's kind of in the air through everybody, but it might be just me and my age and stuff. But I truly have no, like, social media to me is done. It's completely done. Like, there's nothing good about it anymore to me. And I completely
You think we've already hit a wall with social media and stuff?
Kevin's hit a wall.
I've hit a wall.
Oh, you. Okay, not society.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, do you think that social media in its state currently can't continue to exist? Like, will it continue in the next 5 years to be the same way it is?
I think Twitter will be gone in 5 years. Or X or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it'll be gone. I think most of its user base will have abandoned it.
It just must be me, because I don't know. I totally understand when people now say like social media is the equivalent of like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like I get it.
It's
for
bad
some
for you.
reason. It's like,
Well,
and I've never heard somebody say I'm off of social media and say it sucks. I feel like I'm like
No,
every
totally.
single time I've heard somebody say that, they're like, I feel so much better. This feels great.
I think that things like Instagram have given us the opportunity to show a facsimile of our lives to people, so that we have this sense of everything's fine, we're okay, we're young, we're pretty, we're rich, whatever. And I think that the draw for that is a psychological one that's so deep that we'll never lose that. We'll always have. I think that if all the social media networks die, I think Instagram is the one that like stays. Like Facebook might go away, even though it's all the same company or whatever. Twitter might go away, but I think Instagram's here to stay. I just
don't feel what you just said with Instagram anymore. Like when I go onto Instagram, I don't feel that. I just see ads and a bunch of bullshit that I never want to see. Like that's all I see now.
But I think Instagram and TikTok are the ones that are like the most have the most longevity still, because
Currently, yes.
I think that they're fame simulators.
They are 100%.
And everybody has fame worship to some degree. Everybody has power or money worship to some degree. And when someone finds some way to make money off of a social media thing, everybody jumps on it, like that fucking NPC thing on TikTok.
Right.
Everybody's looking for a way to be famous and rich that uses those things like social media. And remember, this is still a tiny percentage of the planet.
It is.
Like social media still is a tiny percentage of the planet. So I think that maybe social media will change from the way it is now in 5 years, but I don't think things like Instagram or TikTok are going to change.
It all depends. It is very interesting seeing one man's be able to destroy one of the biggest ones. I don't even very rarely open Twitter now. It's become such
fascinating, dude.
I look at it less and less every week.
And I joined Threads, but I'm not opening Threads and using it like I used to use Twitter. Not because
I never joined Threads.
I just don't care. Instagram is probably for me as an older gent one of the more enjoyable ones, even though I barely use it. I don't use Facebook. I don't think the youth uses Instagram, Steve. So that's why I don't think Instagram has longevity. I think the youth uses Snapchat and TikTok right now. But TikTok might have this weird, like the government says no thing happen to it. So there's a lot of really fascinating things that might happen. And we're not even accounting for maybe the new one is more of a contained community-based social media app, and that's kind of Discord. Like the youth really likes Discord.
You're right.
I
Discord
think
is
that-
huge.
But I think once you get connected with the world in a way that's like aesthetically pleasing, the layout is nice, it's easy to use. I think that you'll always have people using something like that. Like I think the fact that we are connected as we are is never gonna go away. Like we'll always have a way to be connected to
Yeah,
some
I
person
think-
in the
I
world
agree.
forever. And I
Agreed.
think because of that draw, we'll always flock to some kind of way to connect with the world in whether it's like the megaphone thing like Twitter, or it's like the vlogging YouTuber thing like TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think Instagram, I mean,
Instagram will stay because of, Facebook has stayed surprisingly for as long as it has.
I think in 5 years it'll be like Twitter will be gone, Facebook will be like failing very hard, Instagram will be surviving, and TikTok will be on top.
If it's still,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's
It's so hard
that's
to
my
say.
5-year technology.
That's my
social
5-year
media
plan.
prediction. That's my 5-year plan.
Isn't it funny how we don't consider YouTube to be in the social app conversation, even though it is?
YouTube
It
is
is.
just TV. Is like it's just TV, and
It
also
is.
like an archive of things that you're like, what was that thing called again? Oh, I could type in this one keyword and I'll find it in a heartbeat.
YouTube is probably the other big, even though it gets connected with the internet and the conversations that we have, it's probably the other big like social revolution that we've experienced. It's just been around for 20 freaking years now almost.
Yeah.
Like it's ubiquitous, and we forget like how much it changed everything.
Yeah, I think YouTube's gonna stick around. I don't think YouTube's going anywhere.
There's
I
no
could
other
see-
alternative.
Yeah, I could see YouTube at least still being a resource in 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. It's just nobody else is doing what YouTube does.
Mhm.
And it just has, they've definitely made a lot of stupid decisions, but
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't made stupid decisions that are gonna lead to like they still seem pretty, like their foundation feels strong in a way.
Yeah, like as long as they don't pull any Elon Musk shit, like
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
pay to even use it now.
Which
or like
yeah.
yeah, like if you want to use it at all, there isn't an ad-free version anymore or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like that could really fucking destroy YouTube, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if they got some like CEO that started to like say stupid shit on Twitter or like
True.
isn't it so funny that like even though the percentage of people that are like upset and angry about all the shit Elon Musk says and are like so sick of Elon Musk, like even that's like the tiniest percentage of like the big picture.
Yeah.
Yep. It's really funny because the whole Elon Musk saga, I realized, our existence has always been bubbles, right? Like even the Valleyfolk was a small bubble of a YouTube bubble, and the YouTube bubble feels big, but it's actually small to the rest of the world. And we were talking about Elon Musk, and I think how I think he's a complete freaking jackass and yada yada yada, and it's really interesting watching him destroy this thing, and see who he's giving a voice to in a very detrimental way, yada yada yada. They don't see any of that. They know he's kind of, but they don't see that he's dangerous. They're both Tesla owners, and these are people friends that I have, like that I went to the Coheed and Cambria concert with up in Spokane, Washington, and they're just not connected to social media in any way, shape, or form, really.
Yeah.
They're only still seeing the like he's making these cars. We know he's kind of a douchebag, but like this revolution still matters, and
SpaceX,
like that's the Elon that they see. They're not seeing this other like fame hungry, look at me Elon that like. And it's just it's an important perspective to keep in mind.
Basically, if you're not on social media, you don't really get to hear all the stupid shit Elon Musk says.
But they're
Or
like, well, I
anything.
really like my Tesla. It's really cool. And
Yeah.
And they're like,
I'm not driving a gas guzzler. And
yeah, and I think I'm saving the environment while I do it. So, it's like it's all like a net positive for most people.
Yep.
They don't realize the guy that like runs the whole thing is a big fucking tool, idiot, moron.
All right, let's finish it off with a little Not Scary Farm, a debrief.
Oh yeah, Knott's was great. It was hours and hours of we were there. We were there from 6
Yeah, I want to know
p.m.
when you left.
to like 1.
Oh,
Like
you only stayed like a half hour longer than us?
yeah, because I would say maybe 45 minutes tops because
What'd you
we were
do
like,
after we left?
well, there were only 4 of us left, and we had the 3 front of the line passes that we were gonna finally use. Haley had to go because she
Okay.
had to work real early in the morning, and so I was like, and she left her purse in Matt's car because she Ubered over. So
Ugh.
I was gonna take her to the car and then like walk her to the lift and make sure the lift got her or whatever, and then go back inside. And then we were gonna try to like do shit or whatever. But what we ended up doing is we went back to the cinema one, the
Good.
spooky cinema one, and Matt, Owen, and Brett all had the like front of the line bracelet on, but Haley and I didn't. And we like tried to get in, and there was this one fucking guy that was like, "Where's your wristband? Let me see." And it was like fucking 1:30 in the morning or whatever, and he's like, "Nah, I can't let you guys in." And Matt was like, "We're just a really small group, and it's just like these are the only 2 that." He's like, "Nope." And we're like, "Okay." So we just waited for the guys, so they did one last maze, and then we left.
Damn.
Yeah.
You guys should have.
Yeah. I mean, I know, but it was so late, and we'd been
Dude,
there
okay,
since
so-
6 p.m.
Well, this is what
The
I was
fight
gonna
was
say.
fun.
Dude, we were there for like 7 hours.
This is what I was gonna say though. I am never going again on a Saturday.
Well, you
Absolutely
know what?
not.
I hear you, and I almost agree with you. But what I was thinking was, I would go back on a Saturday
If we went
this
later.
this early in the
I
month.
told Ellie this. I was like, if we went
later,
if we went at like 9 p.m.
Yes.
and we missed traffic getting there. We missed that big
No
line to
parking
get
trouble.
in.
Yep.
The lines would have been shorter. We could have ate dinner beforehand.
yeah, because my tired ass was like, I want to get there early, do as much as we can, and then get the fuck out of there.
But it took us an hour to just get
But
in.
it's just because when you have a big group, it's always hard to like
Yeah.
figure shit out.
Damn.
Anyway, but I loved it. I think
You just
that-
definitely missed out on a lot of good
I'm sure.
moments.
I know I did.
Yeah.
We went last year and it was real fun and it was fine. I mean, we had a great time. Joe, we drank these these blood bags with like alcohol in it. I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
they're
I'll have
fun.
a little booze. I
They're
don't drink
good.
ever. It was good. We had fun and we were like vaping. Like Owen was smoking his cigarette walking around the park. It's kind of like you're at a carnival.
It is. It felt very carnival-like. I
It
loved
didn't
it.
feel like I was at
love it.
Disneyland. It felt like I was at a carnival.
I'm
Did
so,
it
so
smell like a
surprised.
carnival? Were there carnival smells everywhere?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
including animal smells because they do have. It is Knott's Berry Farm. There is a farm with animals there. But it was good, man. I recommend it. It's cheaper than Universal. It's It's way better thematically and entertaining than Universal, I think. And yeah, my only advice is get there late. They close at 1 a.m.
Get there later, like not because we went on a Thursday the first time, and I told you like the longest we waited was 20 minutes for a line. We got to do 8 of the 10 mazes. It was
What
like
time
awesome.
did you get there?
We got there at 7, or we didn't get in until like 7:45, and we left at 1, and we got 8 mazes in.
Yeah.
8 mazes, 0 coasters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't do
coasters
the
aren't-
coasters. The coaster
Yeah.
lines were longer than the fucking
Yeah,
maze lines.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, but for those of you that are like, I'm kind of on the fence, I want to go to Knott's, I want to go to Universal.
It's worth it.
I would say go to Knott's, just go later. They close at 1 o'clock during the week, 1 a.m. during the week, and 2 a.m. on the weekend. So if you got there at like 10 p.m. or even 11 would be even safer.
Yeah.
Like sleep the day, like during the day, like do whatever, like chill, and then go at fucking 11 o'clock at night and do everything in like 2 hours, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that.
And that's that.
And that's that, guys. Thanks for listening to the show, Joe. Welcome back,
Thank you for
Welcome
having
back
me.
to the club.
Kevin. Thank you for
Our cunt ever
Kevin.
love it.
Kevin makes this show work.
I'm gonna think about that.
Anchor. He's the emotional anchor.
I mean, literally, there would be no show if it wasn't for you.
I'm about to walk.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Send some good vibes to Elliot and his family.
God bless him.
And we hope you have a wonderful week, huh?
Let us know.
Happy Halloween!
What are you dressing up for as Halloween?
Yeah, what's your Halloween costume? Let us know in that comments
Then
section.
I'll steal it.
No.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
If you're